In our fifth and final Techtember episode this season, Real Estate Team OS brings you the two co-founders of Lab Code Agents for conversations at the intersection of AI and human relationships. In just 20 minutes, Tristan Ahumada recommends top tech tools for today's environment, explains why agents who use AI won't be replacing agents who don't, shares the right way to differentiate through tech, and gives you a simple process to keep up with the latest tools and trends. Then, in under 20 minutes, Nick Baldwin breaks down the marketing challenge of meeting and exceeding the expectations of today's buyers and sellers, details how to get better results and output from ChatGPT, and explains how he's blending in-person and tech-enabled experiences as he heads back into sales production as an agent. Enjoy this fifth and final Techtember episode, and be sure to check out any of the previous ones you missed on Real Estate Team OS.
No matter where your business is today or where you want to take it, you'll get there faster and more profitably with an operating system. Welcome to Team OS, your guide to starting, growing, and optimizing a real estate team. Here's your host, Ethan Butte.
Tristan, welcome back to Real Estate Team OS. You were kind enough to be one of our very first guests. We called those the FubCon sessions. That's linked up right down below, by the way. A fun teaser for you and for the audience. I'm going to actually quote you back to yourself from a social post as an anchor for what I think is going to be a really interesting conversation. I'd love to hear you out on it. But I'm going to start with three kind of like rapid fire style questions, just kind of quick answers. And the first one is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested, excited, or passionate would you say that you are about new technology in general?
Extremely. That's like on a 1 to 10, 10.
Okay. And has it always been that way? And if not, like, what changed it for you?
So when I started in Century 21 that was the first brokerage I jumped into, I realized as I started and I was testing all of this new stuff out because I didn't know what was what. Dude, Top Producer was still on a disc.
Yeah.
Right? So I was testing this stuff out, and as I was testing it out and I was having success, agents kept on coming up to me and saying, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I quickly saw that I was becoming really fast, just in my office, that person that people would go to ask how to do stuff to keep up with everything that's going. I'm like, oh, got it. That's value driven, right? And this is before lab coats. People started coming to me now more locally and saying, Tristan, how do you do this? I just saw you do that. And that started getting me on the radar locally for Ventura County. And I was like, that's valuable.
A little bit of a push and pull. Like, there's something intuitive to you about it that was interesting and engaging. But then the more people sought you out, like, I got to have better answers next time someone comes to me, which is going to be tomorrow. Yeah. Cool. Second one is, if you were starting in the business as an agent today, what are a couple few categories of tech? You don't need to name like brands or specific products, but like, what are a few things that you would immediately buy?
Yeah, ChatGPT, the $20 version is sufficient. That's 100% down what I would do, one. And then depending on which route you want to go with, and I'd look at the 5 most visited websites in the world. Number 1, Google. Number 2, YouTube. Number 3, Facebook. Number 4, Instagram. And number 5, ChatGPT. Dude, I think it's going to be number 1, by the way. When you look at those, you're paying for ChatGPT $20. Where do you fit in with the other 4? Do you want to go in more on Google, do LSA, local service ads? Do you want to maybe pay somebody you can hire? This is still tech, but hire to get you more reviews that you're on top of that, right? That's how they'll find you. Do you want to jump in and create some opportunity through you going to Claude? Now you pay $20 more for Claude, which is more natural language. You can now create blogs and put them in, because even though SEO is heading towards being dead, not really, because
right. We just haven't reverse engineered how chat or how AI
Chat's
search
still
works yet.
it, right?
Yeah.
It's still grabbing it from there.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm thinking about this. And then for me, who's going even further into YouTube, I would say, what are the tools necessary to help me show up better on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram? It would be like a CapCut. It would be something along the lines of TubeBuddy, something that helps me create better content based on the data that's there, right? And then lightly keeping current matters. That's something that just provides me with content so that I could show up smarter, which you see me post a lot of content about the market, right? So
Yeah.
that's how I'm thinking about this, because the number one thing that you hear and I hear is that attention is currency. But the piece that's missing off of that is the significance piece. Yeah. Attention is definitely currency, but it's how you make your audience feel that solidifies the relationship and the legacy that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I always say that attention is not the currency of the economy. It's just a necessary precursor to the currency of the economy, which is trust, which is essentially what you're talking about. Like how you make people feel is like, do I feel good, safe, protected? Can I be myself? Is word consistent with deed, et cetera, et cetera? It's like trust is the currency of the economy. Attention is just its necessary precursor. So I love that you went there with tools that you would be looking at, because that's like, how do I get in front of people that I want to get into relationship with? And then
That's it.
the conversation is where the trust starts getting built. Okay. Number 3, what do you think your 2015 self would say about the tech that you're using in 2025?
It's really great, but you've got to be looking out for what's next. I'm always living under the feeling like I'm not doing enough or I'm not exploring enough, right? And even when I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn it, should I revisit that? Did I use it wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's that feeling that we're just not doing enough with what we have. And that applies to tech a lot. So I'm thinking I would probably look at myself and say, you know what? If you can't do it, Tristan, if you personally don't have enough time because you're prospecting or doing whatever you're doing to get more business, then you've got to hire someone to do this.
Yeah, really good. Okay, here is exactly what I read on the internet from you, and I loved it, and I want to talk about it with you. The agents that fail to use AI will not be replaced by agents who use AI. Just like agents that don't use social media didn't get replaced. This is a relationship business, and some old school agents will always do amazing without AI or social media.
Yeah, I mean, I got some hate for that, right?
Of course.
But
You're on the internet, man. You got the biggest real estate Facebook group there is. Of course it's hateful.
I just hate hearing the same thing you hear.
Yeah.
Because you and I think very similarly. And we're like, wait a second. Agents using AI won't replace agents. That's just stupid, right? Like, no, there's plenty of business, especially when you're talking about a business that's based on relationships. And I know those people are saying, but Tristan, yeah, AI is going to be everywhere, and agents using AI will do a much better job than agents that are not using. Yeah, of course, but it's not going to replace those agents that are in a neighborhood and everyone in the neighborhood knows them. They have their phone number or they're good on social and they connect through there. Nobody's going to replace that. I don't care what you put in place of it. Here's what's going to happen, dude. Because I'm watching it happen on a human level with Gen Z and younger millennials. As we're moving into more of an AI virtual world, we're going to see the opposite of what's been happening. That means more people are going to value in-person or person-to-person communication over the other forms of communication, virtual worlds, AI talk to AI talk, right? That's great. But what happens is what you and I are doing now, especially if we're in person, right? And this is why you have a lot of the agents out there that are mega agents or teams. They realize that, and what is the first thing they do? They go and lease. They get an office. They have presence. And that's going to become even more important in the near future. It's like we go back to the industrial age and we're like, okay, everything is being now manufactured. You fast forward a lot of years, and then handmade becomes so much more valuable.
Totally.
Well, you can't wait in our world that much because things move so damn fast. So that means in a very short period of time, as soon as AI takes off even more, person to person is going to be extremely more valuable. And people are missing that completely.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, a lot of the conversations we're having right now around tech-enabled real estate or specifically AI-enabled real estate, you have like, okay, It can do very custom things, whether that's, prepping me for an appointment specific to all my conversations with this person in the past, or, summarizing 5 years of email, text exchanges and phone calls, and like doing all this stuff, like sending customized gifts to people that are personalized to them without me having to do very much except, check a box or whatever. That's all well and good. But what I just heard you say, and what I completely agree with, is if you haven't done a client party lately and you're doing a lot of like repeat and referral business, get that on the calendar and make it an annual or semi-annual event. Because not only is it a gift to reconnect with all those people in person, but you get to connect them with one another, especially if you're in a market where people are, there are a lot of people new to town. In person, experiential, like that's where it's at. I think that's going to be the most memorable and the most valuable. Last thing I'll say, and then I'll ask you a question because you're my guest, is forever, by forever, I mean for the past 20 years, companies have been trying to figure out how to put humans on the most expensive problems from a customer service standpoint. So, at first it was, let's farm out all of our call centers overseas. And then it was, let's actually hide the phone number. And, now you got to go through our, stupid chat bot. It's not even intelligent. It's just like an automation like tree, and it sends you around in circles. And if, by the way, you actually want to talk to a human being to help you, by the way, Follow Up Boss does not do this. You can actually call and talk to a human being, and they're all awesome. Like I know a number of them in person, but
good people.
In any case, it's a separate thing. Like, oh, no, you got to be on the, X dollar a month plan if you want to actually talk to a human being. And so I just offer that to say, like, in light of this experiential in-person thing, we have for years been seeing that the highest tier is human to human. And I don't think that goes away at all.
That's a good point, man. Yeah. The highest tier is human to human. I agree. And I don't think that changes. I think it becomes more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, back to tools and tech. Is there anything that you feel like, what I read in your post that I really liked, that I already quoted you on, is that it's like, hey, you do your business your way. As long as you're focused on, building relationships with people, you'll do all right. It's kind of what I heard in that kind of, that post. Other side of that, are there any tools or tech that you feel like are underused by agents or teams or brokerages right now? Whether they're new or whether they've been around for a long time, it's like, when are people going to get turned on to this?
Yeah, I still talk to top agents. Not a lot of top agents do this, but some top agents are still just using Excel to manage their database. And I run across this barrier and saying, hey, look, I'm a top producer. That's what they're saying. And I'm running this great company and it's off of Excel. Can you believe it? I'm awesome. I'm like, that's awesome. But you're actually doing a disservice to your business, because that's what we're talking about, where AI in the very near future connected to your CRM will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you and will allow you to nurture those clients that aren't ready right now, which you want to create a relationship with, because that's where your future business is coming from, right? That's a key piece to it. That's where I think any great CRM is going to be a good addition to your business, because if you want to build, you've got to be able to track better. And Excel can only track so much. And more importantly, it can't automate a lot of the nurturing. I mean, if you want to connect Zapier to it and connect something else to it and make a whole convoluted process, you can do that.
Yeah, I don't think the Excel agent is the Zapier agent. I think those are two different agents. I appreciate how polite you were to the Excel agent. Yeah, it is funny, like to take for granted how foundational or fundamental or even obvious CRM seems, but it's not always.
Yeah.
New question. Can a team leader or brokerage owner truly differentiate through technology?
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of them think that they can, but I think a lot of it turns out to be like, we have X, Y, and Z, but it's like, am I actually going to realize the value of it? So like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes and no. No, in the sense that sometimes when we talk to companies, so when I start the consultation period process, the first thing people want to talk about, and it's usually engineers who've built this tech, they want to talk about the features, right? And it's like, but Tristan, we've got this, and look at this. Nobody does this, right? And if you lead with that in a world that is very online community centric, right? Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. In a world like that, it's going to fall flat because nobody really truly connects with features unless they are the ones that instantly need it right. And I was like, oh, I was looking for that.
Yeah,
And
I know I have a problem, and you just spoke to it directly. But a lot of people, like you're skipping over. Do I even have that problem?
Exactly. And here's where people that focus on this create a bigger opportunity for their teams or brokerages or even for themselves. And that's where they show up, showing how through them, they're creating the brand, they're creating the attraction, right? This is what I do, and this is how I'm helping others, and this is the success we've had. Oh, and by the way, I'm a real person. This is what I'm doing, right? So this product, whatever that is, tech, has allowed me to do A, B, C, D, and this is how I do A, B, C, D, and this is how I show up because of it, A, B, C, D, right? So you're a product of everything that you're using, but you can't showcase the product directly. It has to be indirectly. And that's where a lot of people get wrong.
Yeah, really good. I'm going to kind of fold two of my questions into one here. So feel free to peel it apart however you like. First of all, you've been like just up on the latest tech for, 20 years now in real estate. You mentioned off the top that, your 2015 self would be like, looking forward to what's next. How would you tell a team leader or a brokerage owner or an operations leader to stay up to date with all the latest tech in light of the lack of trustworthiness of a lot of sources? So I guess kind of like, how do you keep up / how do you advise a team leader or an operations leader to stay up to date so that they're not missing opportunities? Because some of this stuff is emerging and it's solving problems that we didn't know we had. I mean, just to kind of tie it back to your last observation. And so I don't know to be looking for it, but I might be missing an opportunity to either A, solve a real problem I have that's costing me real money today, even though I'm kind of blind to it, or B, it might give me a competitive advantage where I can be out in front for a little while and reap some of those benefits too. So how would a team leader stay in touch with what's going on / how do you stay in touch with what's going on and sift through all the freaking noise that's out there, so much of it self-motivated?
Okay. That's a great question. I'm going to go back to Charlie Munger. So Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, right? Charlie Munger would say the reason Warren is so successful is because he has time to think. He actually sets time to think. He's always set time to think. If we can take that for real estate and real estate agents, what is that time on your calendar, hopefully daily, maybe every other day, where you're actually taking time to do research on where the market is heading, what's out there, what are agents talking about, and where are they? They're on social. So what we need to do is go and search purposefully and say, what are agents talking about in lab coat agents? What are agents having problems with, right? And as you pay attention to this daily, you'll start solving it because now you'll go to a YouTube video that solves it and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. I can do it differently. Then you'll go to your podcast and be like, I didn't think about that. That team is doing it that way. Let's go explore that because it matches who I'm trying to target. And so it requires a lot of research and time thinking along this line that makes you better. But a lot of us are so reactive because, look, we got to pay the bills. And yes, I have to respond to the 50 billion emails just for one transaction because it's an escrow officer, an attorney, the buyer, the seller, the appraiser, the inspector, and who knows who else is involved in this. And I have to respond to all of them. But if we don't take control and actually take time to think, then none of that matters because we're always going to be reactive and we're always going to be throwing money at this shiny object stuff because we don't fully understand it. And then we expect it to work a certain way and we're like, it didn't work. Yeah, because you didn't work it that way. So it's your fault.
Yeah, you sent me to the Eisenhower decision matrix, which is just a four-box plot of importance versus urgency. And essentially this staying up with what the potential is and what people really need and want, in this case, real estate agents from a team or a brokerage, is important, but not urgent. No one's begging for it. And so we tend, if we stay in urgent zone, then we're just
So
never
true.
doing the important, not urgent stuff, which is
And
the
then
biggest.
we burn out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we never have anything going over the long term. So I love that kind of discipline or muscle. So if you're paying attention to Techtember, you obviously care a lot. You're curious. You may already be a 10, like everyone I've talked to in the series so far. Not that everyone has always been a 10 on level of passion or expertise, but this idea of a daily or several time a week habit of just staying in touch with problems and solutions is the place to be. It's really good advice, Tristan. If anyone has enjoyed this time with you, I would say go back to the FubCon session. That's, again, linked up right down below. But Tristan, you're involved in so many different things. Where's the best place for someone to go to catch up with you and maybe connect with you or follow kind of your line of thought or what you're up to? What links should I throw down below for you?
Probably, I just started a brand new YouTube channel, Your Daily Real Estate. It's a 5 to 10 minute daily episodes about what you should be doing in real estate. So more on the prospecting side or some mindset, but a lot of prospecting. I would say that one, Your Daily Real Estate.
Cool. Linked up right down below. Tristan, I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate you making time for this.
That was awesome, buddy.
As Tristan recommended there toward the end, be sure to time block for thinking, researching, and learning. And be sure to include some of the 120 plus episodes of Real Estate Team OS that we've produced for you in that process, including Tristan's first episode on the show, which was part of our FubCon Sessions series. Next up is Nick Baldwin, who's been a real estate agent, team leader, and social media and technology coach for about 20 years now. Nick delivers ChatGPT tips, cautions you on the fine line between weird and helpful, and shares his picks for CRM, lead gen, and AI tools as he heads back into sales production as an agent. Nick, you've been operating at the intersection of real estate, tech, marketing, and social media for years. Welcome to Techtember on Real Estate Team OS.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Cool. We'll get right into it. I have 3 quick fun questions, and then we'll get into things you've learned over the years, training, coaching, and consulting in social and tech. First question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested or excited or passionate would you say you are about new tech in general?
Oh, I mean, that's probably an 11 because I have shiny object syndrome. It's an incurable disorder. And I just love just playing around with new stuff, especially when it comes to AI and, automation and things like that. So, I mean, it's definitely higher than a 10. You can't put a number on that.
Has it always been that way? Like, when did you discover this about yourself?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't think I can put my finger on when. I remember when I couldn't join Facebook because it was only for college students. And as soon as I was able to join, I don't remember when I joined, but I was super excited about that. But then Twitter came out and I was excited to give that a shot because it was a whole new platform and it had some cool features that Facebook didn't have. And, it was more of like a town square type thing. So I was super into that. I remember I had MySpace, even before Facebook, and I pimped out my MySpace profile with all the songs and the images and all of those things. So I've always been interested in social media. In terms of tech, it's probably when I got into real estate. That's really the only type of tech I play around with, other than obviously my cell phone and all the new apps and things like that. But when it comes to technology, it's almost exclusively real estate technology. So I would say when I got into real estate about 19, 20 years ago. I remember there wasn't even an IDX 20 years ago.
Right.
We had this website where we would upload manually listings to our website. And this was before agents were like, wait a minute, I don't want you to put my listing on your website, even though we would, tell them, hey, this is for your benefit to have your listing on our website. People can find it. So we were essentially doing IDX manually before IDX was even a thing. So I remember that specifically.
Wild. It's crazy how far we've come in, a decade or two.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the most underused pieces of tech or one of the most underused tools in real estate businesses today?
I don't know if it's a piece of tech, but I think it's something that agents aren't using, not because they don't want to or don't have an interest. I think it's because they don't know how to. And that's definitely marketing the right way and creating content the right way. I mean, the average, and I'm not saying that older people don't know how to use tech. I'm saying the average agent is like 60 years old. So some of this, I think, becoming a marketer is not something that anybody thought that they would have to be at some point in their career. So I think it's just because they don't know how to do it the right way.
Give me a quick go at right way versus wrong way. I mean, I think what I'm hearing or what I'm inferring from what you offered there, especially with the age reference, is that it's maybe the wrong way is broadcast oriented and the right way is personally oriented.
When I say the wrong way, I think a lot of agents are very sporadic with their content creation. They also don't understand what a hook is. They don't understand the difference between videos that you post on YouTube and videos that you post on Instagram. They don't understand how to film it the right way. They don't understand editing techniques, and they shouldn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you kind of have to have some sort of basic level knowledge, because even though the average age of an agent is 60, the average age of a first-time home buyer, I mean, it's gone up now, but it's substantially younger. So they're expecting you to be a content creator. And that's the crazy part. That's the double-edged sword,
Yeah, that's how they get to know you. Last one, and then we'll jump into like a few deeper topics. What's one app you open every single day that has little or nothing to do with real estate?
That's such a good question. Probably Fortnite on my phone. Now they brought Fortnite back to iPhone, so I'm definitely, and I got into that because of my kids, right? So it's a video game. It's a battle royale. I play too much of it. So let's just say that's probably the app I open way too much.
And we'll maybe throw that into the bucket of bonding time and feel okay about it. As I mentioned, you've trained and coached and consulted in social and tech and marketing in a variety of ways, variety of capacities. What are some of the top problems or questions among agents and teams? What do people need help with the most?
They definitely should be investing more time and attention in understanding and learning how to leverage AI in a more effective way. It is still very new, so I understand that, but you also don't want to fall behind. I think a lot of agents feel that AI is just going to be another fad and it's going to pass. But, they thought social media was going to be a fad and they thought that was going to pass. And, we all know how that turned out. And, the consumer doesn't care about your technology. They only care that you are quick to respond and quick to solve their problems. And the only way to do that is with tech, is with AI, to find out information, to respond to an email, to send the right text message, to look for the right property. All of those things you can do with artificial intelligence, and you can do it really, really quickly. Get a market analysis, a CMA. You can do it really, really quickly, and that's what the consumer cares about. They care about the speed in which you're able to help them. They don't care that you're techie. They don't have to know that you're using tech. I think it's great that they don't know, right? I think it's super cool that you remember certain things about your clients, or you're very in tune with what they're looking for, what they need, and that's because your tech and your AI is helping you remember that information, and because it's constantly having a conversation with you. Although there's a fine line between, like, a lot of agents say, oh, you got to call your sphere of influence, and you have to check in with them multiple times a year, and you got to make sure that you remember everything about them to an extent, because remembering too much can make the consumer feel weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like remembering their dog's birthday is a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remembering their kid's birthday, not weird. Remembering their goldfish anniversary, weird. So there is a fine line between what you should use tech for and what you shouldn't use it for.
Yeah, you mentioned CMAs. I want to get into a couple more AI use cases, but I would love to know before we do that, and by AI use case, I mean just things that most agents can and should be doing with AI, especially if it's not something that's like automatically baked into some of the tools that they're using. But first, I would love to know from you, what is something that could be automated or artificially generated, but should still be done by hand?
I feel like a CMA should be half and half because you're a human being. Human beings have emotions, they have empathy, they have sympathy, whereas AI doesn't have emotions like that. They can make decisions based on right and wrong. So I feel like a CMA should be a little bit of both. You could go into your MLS and choose the properties, put it into a spreadsheet, upload it into AI, and get AI to come out with a really beautiful and intricate market analysis based on the properties that you have chosen. So I think the by hand aspect of it is going into the MLS and choosing those properties because you know them better than anybody, and then using the AI to then generate the market analysis. That's probably what you should still be doing, but then using AI to then leverage the creation of it.
Let's speak now to that team leader or that agent who has essentially used something like ChatGPT in place of Google a couple of times.
Yeah.
They like it okay, but it's time for them to take the next real step. Like, what are one or two other things that pretty much anyone running a real estate business at any level could be doing every day with AI that would help them and save them time and make them better professionals?
You should understand how to talk to ChatGPT. If you just open up ChatGPT and you say, what's the market like in the Detroit, Michigan area? That's a very broad question. You know what I mean?
And that's what your clients can do for themselves.
Right. You have to get granular with ChatGPT. You have to talk to ChatGPT in basically like in installments, like you're having a conversation. In a sense, ask it to ask you what you want to find out. And I'm looking to create a market analysis for XYZ neighborhood. Ask me 10 questions that I might not think of that could help me create this market analysis. And so then ChatGPT will then ask you those questions and you'll answer them. And at the end of those questions, it will then spit out what information you gave it in a much more detailed way and a much more specific way, because it's asking you questions that you might not think of to ask yourself. Understanding the right way to talk to it is very important. I'm still learning, but the cool thing about it is it remembers everything. So after a while, you don't even have to be so specific. I've been using it for as long as it's been out, so it knows so much about me. I ask it to if there's certain things that you can ask ChatGPT to do that's silly, like, hey, ChatGPT, roast me, right? And then it'll spit out some roast about you and kind of burn you a little bit. Or ChatGPT, what are some things about me that you've discovered that I might not realize about myself? Or what areas of real estate do I need to improve upon? Or, how can I, whatever the case may be, what are my primary interests and how can I take this interest and turn it into something monetary? Or how should I create my YouTube channel based on the interest that I have in real estate? What kind of niche would I be looking at? So there's so many ways to talk to it, but you have to allow it to get to know you first. And over time, it starts to understand you. It remembers conversations. And then you don't have to be as specific because it can recall a conversation you had months ago and pull it back up to help you. So the more you use it, the more consistent you are with it, the more it's going to understand who you are as a business person and then be much more effective in that aspect because it learns about you. It's just it's like having a friend who doesn't forget. You know what I mean? I heard about this guy. It was a weird guy who wanted to marry his ChatGPT, and it's just it's weird, dude. People get weird with it.
Yeah, there are a lot of horror stories around that, but I love your advice on like keep a constant companion, using it not just to spit things out for you, but to question your own thinking, to fill in gaps, to make sure that you've got additional perspective. I want to switch topics really quickly because you've been an agent, you've been a team leader, you've operated in a variety of ways, but you're getting back into production.
I've been in real estate for, man, it's almost 20 years. Next year will be 20 years. And I've sold a lot of homes out of New Jersey, but about 7 years ago, I moved to Michigan to be a team leader of a Keller Williams market center. I never got my real estate license because I was always in leadership, and then I went on to coaching. I ran a team, but I wasn't in sales, because I was a rainmaker. But yeah, so I recently passed my Michigan State exam, and it was, I'm a horrible test taker, so it was a miserable experience. But yeah, so I'm excited to get my hands dirty again.
Congratulations on fighting through a weakness of test taking and getting to the good side of it. But my specific question here in Techtember is, how are you, as essentially someone restarting, or now, put you in the position of like a new agent, even though you're not. Yeah. How are you thinking about your tech stack here in mid to late 2025? Like, what are the core components that are going to help you build and run the business the way that you want to?
So my tech stack, I do have a follow-up boss, and this is not a paid advertisement. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, Follow-Up Boss was a partner of Lab Coats for a very long time, so we all have Follow-Up Boss accounts, and I love it as a CRM. I'm excited to get back into using Ylopo again with pay-per-click and Facebook lead generation, and they have a very strong AI suite that I'm also super excited to set back up again to see what Ylopo is working on with their voice AI. They have a voice like VA type platform, so I'm excited to use that again. I'm also strangely excited to get back to basics and to start doing open houses again, because I love getting in front of people, because I feel like not enough agents look at open houses. They look at it as a pain in the neck, and I look at it as a super amazing opportunity. Like, I feel like it's the fast pass to getting a client, because when someone clicks on your website from behind a computer, you have so many steps that you have to overcome to actually get in front of that person, whereas an open house, you're right in front of them. They can see your face, they can look into your eyes, they know right away whether they want to work with you or trust you. And I just feel like there's so much left on the table and agents aren't doing open houses. But then I'm excited to have people sign in and have them get into my CRM, and then start to retarget them through Facebook and social media. And I've met them in person, so when they see my ads from signing in my open house, they know who I am already. So those are the types of things that I'm excited to get to working on again. So retargeting, Google pay-per-click, AI follow-up, all of those cool fancy things I'm excited to get back into.
That's awesome. I love this both and of hands-on, in-person, face-to-face, blended with following up with smart tools. Quick promotional plug here. One of the conversations here in Techtember 2025 is with Kyle Draper, and we spend at least 8 or 10 minutes specifically on Ylopo AI voice. So be sure to check that one out. Nick, I appreciate you so much. I wish you continued success as you get back into production yourself. If anyone would like to learn more about you, connect with you, maybe, I don't know if you're still doing coaching in light of, or training in light of being in production, but if someone wants to connect, where should they go?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, type in Nick Baldwin. It's usually a picture of me and my wife, because my wife is much prettier than me, so I try to put a picture of her with me to make me look better. So you can find me there. You can email me, nickbaldwin1979@gmail.com. Reach out to me there. Find me. I'm on all the socials. So Facebook. I also coach with Eisenhower Coaching and Training. So if you want to talk to me about possible tech coaching, because that's my specialty, I'm their tech and social media coach. I'd love to chat with you that way. So just reach out. Shoot me an email, nickbaldwin1979@gmail, and I'm happy to chat with you.
That stuff is typed up right down below in case you are doing something else, like maybe driving. Driving is not a great time to be taking notes.
No, please
you've got
don't.
an AI note taker. So that's why I always put them down below in the YouTube description, the podcast description, the website description. It's all down there. Nick, I appreciate you, and I wish you continued success.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you giving me the time to be on the podcast.
Thanks for checking out this episode of TeamOS. Get quick insights all the time by checking out Real Estate TeamOS on Instagram and on TikTok.